Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bari Connected Podcast. And today we're being joined by a very special gift and friend, Natalie Tierney. And she is bringing up a wonderful topic that I believe will be near and dear to many people's hearts. And that is talking about being yourself, talking about your own journey. The official topic is Let's Talk LGBTQIA and identity after weight loss surgery. Um, you know, when you're looking to find, I'm going to call it the most authentic version of yourself, whether you're struggling with your identity, sexuality, or just looking to be more true to your own nature, this is what we're going to be talking about. Natalie's going to be sharing her own journey. She's going to be talking about exploring this topic. And I think, Natalie, you've been through a lot with your weight loss surgery journey. She had a VSG, vertical sleeve gastrectomy on September 30th of 2020 after two other major prior bariatric surgeries, a lap band in 2009 and bariatric plication at 2011. And you were young when you started this journey, age 15, correct?
Yeah, I was
Yes.
very young.
And so I'm going to be kind of turning the role over to you and let you be talking a little bit more about yourself. I want to welcome every single person that's joining us, whether you're on the live or a later recorded version of this, and say hi as you're joining. Say hello. Let us know where you're from. Tell us a little bit about yourself if you're planning to have weight loss surgery, if you've already had it, if you've joined us before, all of that good stuff. And Natalie, I'm going to mute myself while I jump onto our Facebook page and check on there as well.
Sounds good. Yes, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me. I was talking to Brenda earlier about this topic, and I'm just so excited to elaborate and to share my journey with self-discovery and learning really who I am, who my identity is after weight loss surgery, and kind of using that as a catapult forward to that self-discovery and that identity. So I'm really excited about that. I'm a little bit about myself. I'm a co-founder of BariNation. We're an online platform um, dedicated to connecting other bariatric patients with each other and experts in the community. And I'm also just a huge advocate for weight loss surgery in general. I've done it 3 times and I always say I would do it again. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here with everyone and to be here with Brenda today. So yeah, I'm ready to talk about identity and LGBTQIA plus topics. I also wanted to make aware that that this month, September, is Bisexual Visibility Month. So this is a great time if you are curious about bisexuality or you have someone who identifies that way, to educate yourself. There are a lot of resources online. And if you want to help grow research, there's also ways to donate online as well.
Yeah, so let's get it started. Let's get this started. I have so many questions. Like I wonder, let's start with your weight loss journey and how that kind of went over the years and what you've learned
Yeah.
and then how you kind of got into the topic that we're talking about today, your own sexuality, about your own identity and what that means to you and why you decided to talk about this today, like why it's important to you.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just start from kind of the beginning. I've always been bigger. I've always been obese pretty much since birth. When I had my first surgery, I was age 15, like we said, and I was 350 pounds. So I've always dealt with obesity, always had this at the forefront of my being. That was like a part of my identity. I'm just the big person. And So when I had the two failed surgeries, I gave up like a lot of people would. I was tired, I was annoyed. I just thought I was supposed to be obese forever. And finally, I was like, fast forward to probably 25, 26 years old. And I was struggling with my identity again. I was like, man, I just don't feel happy. I don't feel like myself. I don't feel like the some of the friends that I have are actually friends that I want to have. I kind of had a quarter life crisis, if you will. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Um, and I was almost 400 pounds. I wasn't at my highest, which was 400 pounds, but I was getting there. And I just thought, I'm going to love myself no matter what my size, what health issues I have. It's all love all the time. I'm going to eat whatever I want. I'm going to dress how I want. We're just going to make this work. And it was fun most of the time. And then there were days where I still was struggling with my identity. Who am I? What do I actually enjoy doing? Do I actually like being the size that I am, regardless of how maybe I'm trying to force myself to think? um, and I had a really big moment when my grandma passed away in June of 2020. So we're in the height of COVID. My grandma passes away from old age. And I thought, I want to live the life that my grandma lived. I want to be happy and healthy. And I just want to live a life that I would be proud of. And we, after my grandma passed and we had her funeral, my mom found my surgeon online and said, you don't have to, I'm not pressuring you, but I think it would help. So I contacted the surgeon and we had a very long conversation about my history and my concerns. And I said, okay, let's just do it. So I put down a deposit, and 3 months later, I had my VSG surgery in September of 2020. Um, and that was a really pivotal moment for me to kind of accept that my obesity is a part of my identity, but it's not my whole identity. It's not the only thing about me. It's not the most interesting thing about me. It's just a part of me. So that was kind of the first level of acceptance, I guess. And then I proceeded to have the surgery, healed from the surgery, and found this amazing bariatric community. Met Brenda and so many others who've had the surgery. And I went through a long period. I think the first year after surgery, I went through this period of time where I experimented with fashion. I experimented with, do I like certain foods? I experimented with dating. I just took that time to try anything and everything I could. It didn't matter if I didn't like it. It didn't matter if I loved it. I just was like bouncing around from thing to thing. And I think what I learned during that time was that um, life is not that serious. Like, you can try different things, and it's okay if they work out, and it's okay if they don't. Um, and that's, I mean, I've tried, like I said, fashion. I used Shein clothes. I would order clothes every month to try and find out my style. I cut my hair off. I did everything I could to try and figure myself out. And that's why I wanted to talk about this today is I think it's a scary feeling to not really know who you are, but it's also an empowering feeling because you get to try all of these new things. Um, and that's what I did. I embraced it. I embraced the season of change. And I can stand here today talking to all of you and say, like, I know who I am for the most part. I know what I like. I know the clothes that I like to wear. I know the foods that I like to eat. Um, and it feels really good. It feels really freeing to do. So that's, I guess, a very fast, long-winded journey that I've been on so far. But I just want to empower people to try new things because it's fun.
And Natalie, you got such a great point there. One of my cousins recently turned 60 and she posted on Facebook something about she's 60 and she's going to try 60 new things this year. And I thought that was kind of neat. And then right after that, I had went to a women's conference and they were talking about trying new things and what that looks like in your life. And it helps, basically what it does is it helps get rid of fear in your life, like any kind of fear, because when you try new things, you're like implementing this new energy and you're bringing it into your life and you're experiencing things that you would have never experienced unless you try them. And it like helps overcome, whether you realize it or not, it helps overcome, so much of this fear. And really, whether it's figuring out, what your identity is or not, it is actually just experiencing life in so many different ways. Like really just not being fearful, just living your life. And how do you know what you really like unless you try 10 different things? And I don't know, I love that. I think that's great. We should probably try new things every day, even if we feel like we are fairly certain on who we are, because we're so really, I believe we're so much more than what we know, and our potential is so unlimited. And why limit it ourselves? Why limit like what you are unless you experience those things? I know I was listening to a podcast this morning and they were talking about your mind and how your mind can only view experiences based on what you know. So like let me give you an example, like colors. Like if you certain tribes or communities may not really know, like if they were shown the color blue, because when they grew up they may have three different words for the color blue and they may know what it looks like to them. But if you'd show them a picture of green, they would be like, I don't know what that is if they've never experienced it before. So they wouldn't be able to put it into words. But when you try new
Yeah.
things and you have experiences of, let's say, the color blue being 10 different variations, your experience can be very different based on your perception. Hope that makes sense. So what
Yeah.
you're saying is basically like by trying all these new things, you're
Absolutely.
exploring the world and getting to know it in so many different ways.
And getting to know yourself, right? Like for a brief period, I lived in Alaska and I taught out in like the villages basically while I was getting my degree. And that was an experience that I will never forget because it was so vastly different than anything I've ever experienced. And it gave me, like what you're saying, Brenda, it gave me a new perspective to say, like, oh, this situation is very similar to the one that I had then. Let me try and see if how I navigated that situation back then will work for this time. And if not, then okay, how can I gain a new experience and a new perspective um, with this scenario? It really is empowering, and it gives you, I think it gives you a level of confidence that we kind of have forgotten about as a society. We want to be like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I get up, I go to work, I come home, I eat dinner, I go to sleep, I get up and go to work again. It's we do like that, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But I also know that saying yes to things and exploring new ways of life, new colors, if you will, is really important for our well-being, I think.
Yeah, and we forget like what we're when we're little and we're growing up, we're told certain things like society norms, like what should be your normal. And whether it be sexuality, whether it
Yes.
be um fashion, you were talking about exploring different fashion, we only know what other people tell us sometimes. And unless we try different things, how do we know what we really like? And I feel like it can, like trying new things, I can think, like, I want to know some of the things that you actually tried, because like I'm thinking about even like taking small steps,
Yeah.
guys. Like we're talking about like, let's say you're in town and you have to drive home. Instead of taking the same route home, take a different route home. Let's say you're writing an essay or you're
Hmm.
working at your desk, and try a different ink pen. This sounds really silly, like little tiny things, but like the little tiny things are the things that add up. So tell me what kind of things you're talking about here by new things.
Yeah. So for me, I've always wanted to be fashionable. I've always loved fashion. I've always um wanted to dress my body in a way that I felt was expressing who I am, but being in a body that was 400 pounds, a size 24 wide, like I was big. And I couldn't find clothing that really truly expressed who I am. Um, when I hit 100 pounds down, I went on a crazy spending spree on Shein. I got as many clothes as I could. It was a box probably this big, and it was packed with clothes. Um, and they were all clothes that I would have never picked out before, that I didn't like probably 80% of them. I thought they looked ridiculous on me. Um, and I still had fun because I thought, oh, this isn't this, clothing shape, this jumpsuit didn't look the way that I thought it was going to look. Um, and instead of me feeling, I guess, bad about that decision or bad about it not fitting right or whatever, I just kind of like laughed it off, like, oh, that's funny. Like, I thought I was going to look so hot in this jumpsuit, and it ended up not. So that was one where it was like, oh, this is kind of silly. Why did I spend like $80 on Shein for hundreds of pieces of clothing? For what though? Like, why did I do that? And it was to explore and to see what I liked. And then the other thing I've talked about often, but not probably not out in the world. I've talked about it like in BariNation and stuff. But I used to think that I loved pizza. I used to think, oh, pizza's so good. Everyone loves pizza. Who doesn't love pizza? I love pizza. And I was out with friends. We had gone out and we ordered like a late night pizza. And I thought, I'll just have a slice of pizza or I'll just take the toppings off. Um, and I was eating it and I thought, I actually don't really like this. Like I had that fleeting thought of, I don't think you actually like pizza the way that you think that you like pizza. And I it sounds really silly, but I think once you really sit down and think and ask yourself those questions, like, do I actually like this? Do I just like this because like you said earlier, Brenda, am I conditioned or was I told that everyone loves pizza, so I'm gonna love pizza? And so that was another moment of like, oh, I don't think I like this as much as I thought I did. Now I know for next time when everyone's suggesting we all order pizza, maybe I can suggest something different. Um, so I think there's two like pieces to the puzzle, right? Like we can say yes to things. I'm going to order all these clothes and I'm going to try things on and I'm going to experiment. And there's questioning ourselves and saying, do I actually like this or do I think that I like this because I've been told that I should like this? Um, So those are, I guess, like two kind of basic examples. I've also done a lot of things like traveled and gone and met a bunch of people that I never thought I would meet. And that happened because I said yes to bariatric surgery. I said yes to myself. Um, and I said yes to the opportunities, like going to bariatric retreat 3 years ago, right? I met you, Brenda. I met so many people in person. And I have friends all across the United States and in Canada who I can, reach out to and ask for help or lean on. But that would have never happened if I hadn't experimented and tried to figure out who I am along the way.
And kind of segueing that into relationships. So relationships with friends, relationships with partners, relationships with whatever. How does one go about
Mhm.
that? Because that can be a scary road. There may be people on this call that are exploring that for themselves right now. Like, like, do you have any pointers with that? Like, what? Because when you try new things, it can be uncomfortable.
Yeah. It so I'm not an expert for anyone here. I'm learning too. I think the biggest thing for me was kind of having the why not mentality again, just kind of um I was just talking to a friend about like sometimes we just get the courage and we're just brave. And I think just like leaning into it and just saying, why not? Why don't I just download the dating app? Why don't I just go to bariatric retreat? Why don't I like I guess for me it's kind of just leaning into the bravery, like the fleeting moments of bravery and just saying, okay, cool, I'm gonna do this. Um I'll one like anecdote, I guess, is I was 3, 4 months post VSG. It was still kind of pandemic times, like things were just starting to open up. And I thought, I'm gonna start dating. Like I was feeling really good. I'd lost all this weight. Um, and I thought, I'm just gonna start dating. And I went on this date. It ended up obviously not working out. He was a great guy. Um, and I ordered, it was my first time also like eating out after surgery. So, right, like VSG, you can't eat a lot at 3, 4 months post-op. So I thought I'll order an appetizer for my dinner and just say I'm not that hungry. So I ordered chicken wings and thinking there would be like, like 8 chicken wings or something. It was a pyramid this tall, this wide of chicken wings. And I was like, oh no, like this is so embarrassing. This guy's gonna think that I'm like the weirdest person ever. I thought, oh, it'll be a couple chicken wings. No, it was like 20 chicken wings in a pyramid on this plate. And I don't know. We both kind of laughed and then I ate a couple of them and I said, "Okay, I'm just going to tell you like I had bariatric surgery. I can't eat that much." And then there was a whole conversation about that. But yeah, and I've had several dates since that time where it was still awkward. There were still questions. But I think yeah, just leaning into that, like, I'm just gonna do it. Like, what's the worst that could happen? The date doesn't go well and I never have to see them again. Like, I don't know. Yeah, just leaning into that, those fleeting moments of confidence and bravery is I guess my tip.
I've heard something recently talking about like if we're talking about our happiness and when we're talking about being connected, that type of thing. A lot of people think happiness is based on experiences, like how you feel in the moment and maybe like riding a ride or taking a vacation, or maybe like holding a friend's hand or a partner's hand, and that type of thing. But also, I think there's other levels of happiness. What happens when we're talking about, we were talking about the colors, being able to see different variations based on your previous experiences. What happens if your definition of happiness also is based on other things like meeting goals? For example, you were talking about, a certain amount of weight loss, or maybe just even doing something like that, like going out on a date. And even if it seemed really successful or not successful, you did it, like, wow, I accomplished that. Or learning new things. I think for me too, like learning new things and growing in some way, because you experience for when you know what you want, when you know what you don't want, you also know what you want. So sometimes it takes a little bit of getting in there, trying it out, and then saying, okay, maybe that's not exactly what I wanted. This is what I want. So then the next date, more what you want, and or the next experience, maybe like knowing, like for example, traveling to bariatric conferences. When you do it once, you can maybe say, okay, I really liked meeting new people. I really liked the kind of people that were kind, that were genuine, that had similar experiences. It helps you to be able to decipher what you want in relationships, and what you want in life, basically. So, do you have anything more to say about that? I don't know if I kind of went off track a little bit, but
No, not at all. I think that's a really smart way to put it too. I've said for a long time, comparison is the thief of joy. I didn't make that up, but I think that it's so true. And what some people on this journey strive for, whether it's running a marathon, whether it's fitting into certain clothes, whether it's getting to plastic surgery, figuring out kind of what's going to motivate you is the most important thing. For me, it is being able to wear clothes that I feel good in. It's being able to move my body in ways that I've always wanted to. I love to be outside. I love walking. I love hiking. And I said from the beginning, my surgeon asked me, what's your goal? And I said, I want to be able to go for a hike, but also have tacos and a margarita after. Like, I want both. I want to be able to move my body and enjoy the things that I really enjoy. And that may not align a lot of times with what other people are striving for. And I think, the same can be said for dating or just everyday life, relationships, things like that. Figuring out what motivates you in those relationships can also help you kind of figure out what's best for you in the long run and find that happiness that you're talking about, Brenda. So I think it's totally spot on.
yeah, I feel like in life, you just each day you just kind of learn day by day, and I guess just not being afraid to try new things. So I would say, like, go out, guys, go out and try new things. Go out and try, you know, if it's and even if you do already have, let's take relationships for example. If even if you already have a fairly stable relationship, what would it be like to try new things in that relationship? To try maybe going new places, or doing new things with that person. And I think friendships sometimes too. I still have some of my friends from high school, but I also have new friends that I've met, like Natalie here. And it's interesting because it's almost like sometimes you act differently in different scenarios. Like some of my friends might know me for being funny. Some of my friends might be know me for being a little bit crazy. Some of them might think I'm really serious all the time and I don't say anything. It's just funny how you kind of your friendships are different depending on the people that you're around too. Hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. We all have friends before surgery, friends that we acquire throughout our life. And my best friends who I've known for almost 20 years now, um, they were also having to kind of relearn me, and my identity as I was also trying to learn me and my identity. And that was, a hurdle that we had to overcome. We had to have some really serious conversations of like, I'm not doing this to hurt or harm you or to leave you behind. But this is a new phase of my life. Um, and I think also having the bravery to have those conversations is really important, with people that we love, with the friends that we have, with spouses, whatever that may be. Because our identity will change as we get older, whether or not we've had weight loss surgery. But I feel like weight loss surgery also kind of catapults you a little bit to have to rethink a little bit faster, maybe than just life, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. I think it does definitely take a level of bravery to do weight loss surgery. I know at least for me it did, and I know I hear that a lot. We have a Facebook page. It's called Bari Connected, and we people share on there all the time, like I'm getting ready to have surgery, but I'm kind of nervous. And I definitely can go back to remembering feeling that way in the beginning. But now it's like you said, Natalie, like I don't think I would ever take it back. I feel like that it's definitely helped me. It's definitely helped me with the weight loss, but also it's like a journey almost in itself of a kind of figuring out so much about yourself. Because when you shave off, like let's say you shave off, you do the surgery and then you start losing the weight, you've changed something physical, but you still haven't changed a lot of those emotional components, the mental components that went along with the weight, how you viewed yourself and all of that. And so that's part of the journey as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a huge, huge portion of the journey. And that's, why we're having this conversation. If things come up and you're like, oh, I would have never had this opportunity 150 pounds ago. Take it, do it, like jump on it and see what happens. And if you love it, that's awesome. You figured out something that you love to do or something that you love to enjoy. And if you don't like it, okay, writing this down to remember that I don't like doing this or I don't like eating this or whatever, and moving on. But having that confidence to say yes and try new things, yeah, it's huge. And especially like opportunities come after weight loss surgery and they also come before weight loss surgery. But having the surgery gave me the confidence and the mental clarity to accept those new opportunities. And I think that really is a special gift that we don't talk about that often.
And I think it helps us explore other areas too, as well, with besides just the weight. You were talking about relationships, but even like your career and things like that. I know we were talking too before the call about so Natalie does work with the BariNation tribe. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that because I want these people to know more about BariNation. It's such an amazing community, and I know you've had such a large part of that. But what I was going to say about that is it's like when you're exploring and trying new things, it reaches over into other areas. So maybe that community also work. You were talking about work, and you're part of what you do work wise, work related, career wise, is as a co-founder of BariNation. You help run that. But you were recently talking, your studies and stuff have been in early childhood education, but you're looking for new things to explore, because you're interested in, I think you said, leadership and running projects and running teams, which I can totally see you doing. But I think sometimes too, it's so easy to put ourselves in one category and like go through life. And I'm saying this because there might be somebody on the call this may really resonate with. You may be in a career or doing something that you
Yeah.
studied to do and you thought was like really important to you. For me, I mean, I've done nursing most of my life, but this job that I have now with Procare is so much more than just a nursing career. So you can always branch out from that. And we're giving you permission on this call to do that. Natalie, tell us, kind of getting into the BariNation thing. Like, let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, as Brenda said, went to college for education. I am in a family of educators and nurses, and I hate blood, so nursing was not my option. Um, so I went into education. I love education. I think it's a really fulfilling career. Um, I also don't love the climate that we're in as far as education goes. So I thought I'm gonna branch out and I'm gonna work with, you know, customers and, customer client relations and things like that. So before I had bariatric surgery, I was, in and out of different jobs, trying to figure out my niche. And then I got let go because of COVID. Right? We all thought it was 2 weeks, and then it ended up being much longer. And so my grandma passed away, started this journey with bariatrics, and I started listening to podcasts. And there was two podcasts out there at the time. The first one was the Our Sleeve Life podcast, which I love. Kelly and Mel. I listen to them all the time. And then the other one was what was then called East to West WLS with April and Jason. So I was back to back. I would just switch off listening to both of these podcasts to prepare myself for surgery, and just even after to carry me over, into post-op life. And one day, Jason had said something on the podcast, East to West, and I posted on Instagram saying how much it resonated with me and how much I appreciated what he had said. And he and April reached out to me. We chatted for a little bit and they invited me on their podcast. And I was maybe 2 or 3 months post-op at this point. And I thought, oh my gosh, a podcast. I've never been on a podcast. I was so afraid, um, and nervous. I thought, oh, I can't. That's, I don't know. It was very scary to me. But I did it. I ended up talking to them for hours. We recorded the podcast and then we talked for like hours after the podcast. And then we kept talking every day. And eventually they were like, hey, we need help with our social media. Would you like to help us with that? And I was unemployed. I was looking for work and they couldn't pay me, but I thought this will keep me occupied. So I helped them with their social media and we started growing and growing and growing. And I was just like on a couple podcasts a month. And then it became like, we want you on every podcast. So it kind of just spiraled from there and grew from there. And then fall of 2021, we became BariNation, rebranded. We launched our support community. And really, I guess the rest is history. We are a great team. We work together every day to make podcast content to bring experts and other bariatric patients into the community to help support our members. But yeah, if I wouldn't have said yes to that one podcast episode, I would not be here today. So it's pretty incredible to think about how just saying yes and opening ourselves up to those opportunities can make such a huge difference.
Natalie, too, we're going to be actually, Natalie's going to be joining us again next week with Jason and April, I believe. I'm hoping both of them can make it on the call.
Yes.
Um, yes, and we're going to be talking about motivation, willpower, and how that fits into the bariatric journey. So I'm excited. They'll get to meet all of them. I know all of you guys have joined us several times. Natalie, you, April, Jason have joined us, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. So you have to feel very confident on podcast now, since you do podcast basically you guys do your own podcast, and then you're actually I know you've been a guest on a lot of other ones too as well. I'm going to put the link for them
Yeah, I
here
mean,
in the chat box
if
for next week's too event.
perfect. Yeah, I was just going to say, if you would have told me 5 years ago that I would be podcasting, I would have laughed in your face. So I'm very well practiced at this point.
So what is your desire with sharing all of this, with being such a part of this community and doing what you're
Yeah.
doing now?
Um, so, I was talking to my parents, talking to my mom about starting an Instagram when I started my pre-op diet. I was on a 3 month pre-op extended diet because I was 400 pounds. They needed me to lose 50 pounds before I even had surgery, which is a huge ask of me, of anyone. And I thought, man, I cannot do this alone. I need the support. And I was telling my mom I'm gonna start an Instagram um, because I need the support. And my mom said, well, if you need the support, someone else is going to need the support. And the way she said that really resonated with me. I've been a part of and kind of lurked in the bariatric community on Instagram for a couple years at that point. I was following, many of you know, Maddie 5088 on Instagram. I had been following her for a long time. I had been following several others for quite some time who, started their page for similar reasons. And I thought, you're right. I need to help support people who come after me, who may have similar body types to me, who may have walked a similar path to me. Um, and that was the motivation and continues to be the motivation. If you've had post-operative complications, I have too. I have a chronic illness. If you have chronic illness after bariatric surgery, great, you're welcome on my page. You're welcome in BariNation. If you are a part of the LGBTQIA plus community, awesome. You are welcome on my page and in the BariNation community. I just wanted to make sure that people who had their surgery alongside me or after me felt the support that they need and get the information that they need, like I needed when I was starting out.
Well, Natalie, too, you're so wonderful at just being very open and very inviting and so kind. I've always enjoyed spending time with you. Like, so easy to talk to, and I think people will find that. I put Natalie's Instagram, her TikTok, the links for that. You'll find that in the comments. If you're listening to a replay, you should be able to find it in the description of the event. We have also BariNation's website, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, also as well. Most of those are just Natalie's is under Breaking Barriers or Breaking Bari, and BariNation. Most of those are just under BariNation, simple and easy. Um, so I'm also going to say Natalie is at Procare Health, who's our sponsor for this event, has been a huge supporter of BariNation. We love BariNation ever since you guys began. Just just the things that you're doing and the community that you're creating. And so before I kind of get into more with that, Natalie, I'd love for you to give us some closing thoughts on what we talked about here with identity and actually the whole community, like the community that you're sharing about.
Absolutely. I would just love to say for anyone who is maybe thinking about having surgery, maybe you just had surgery and beyond, and you are presented with new opportunities to say yes, to try them, um, and and to have fun. I think that's the main takeaway is to have fun with life and try new things. And like you said, Brenda, we give you permission to say yes, to try new things, to hold on to those new opportunities. So that's my main takeaway here. And as long as I'm around, I hope BariNation will always be around. You're welcome in this bariatric community, regardless of age, stage, surgery type, walk of life. You're welcome. BariNation is a really safe place to learn about yourself and to learn about bariatric life alongside bariatric peers and with credentialed experts in the community, therapists. We have life coaches, we have dietitians, anyone really that you can think of to help support you along your journey and to help you figure out your identity and what you like and dislike along the way, where is in BariNation. So I hope you also can enjoy, I hope you can also join us next week. April and Jason are going to join me, and we're going to talk about willpower and kind of like 1 year, now what? So yeah, bottom line is that you are welcome in BariNation and in the bariatric community.
And Natalie, I've put down the website as one of the links, and there is if somebody wants to try BariNation, do you have um, an intro, like they can get BariNation for a period of time for free, like a 7-day trial? Is it?
We do So we do with Procare, I believe, through Bari Connected. We do not have a free trial currently, but just know that if you try us out for a month, you can cancel at any time. We don't strong arm you to stay, but we hope that you will. The main thing is just to try one of our live events, which is just like this. Brenda and I are talking on Zoom on this live stream. That's how all of our live events happen. So if you can join and click into one event, we hope that you'll see the magic that BariNation brings.
And you have all kinds of professionals, but also patient level. So you have doctors, you have nurses, you have dietitians, you have social workers, psychologists, you have um, community, like people like you were talking about the uh, I have to get back to the acronym, the LGBTQIA. You actually have a community within BariNation
Yes.
that is specific to that, which you have groups on there, which really opens up for another community, a little niche community. So there's actually chefs on there too. I know Chef Stephanie, she's been on our program before. You have life coaches. I don't know. You have a lot. How many different professionals and I'd say persons do you have that are giving topics monthly right now?
Wow. Yeah. I think in total, including volunteers, professionals, all of that, I think we have about 30 different people who lead in BariNation. And we have right now, starting in September, we have something every day that you can click into and get the support you need, from a bariatric therapist to a bariatric peer. There's something going on every single day in BariNation.
And it's exciting because now you have some physicians that have now brought this into their practices. Like there may be there may be bariatric professionals on this call, and that's why I'm mentioning it. But you actually do have some practices that have brought BariNation into their practice and are offering that as part of their follow-up, their way to stay connected to the community. Natalie, if we do
Yeah,
have a
we
professional that's listening, how would they go about doing that too?
absolutely. You can always send an email to myself, Natalie at BariNation.com. You can also send an email to hello@BariNation.com, and give us a little bit about yourself, your practice, and we would love to connect with you, and talk about options. We have different options for our different practices' needs. But yeah, last year we partnered with Kentucky Bariatric Institute. This year we have partnered with Advent Health in Central Florida. So we're growing and we're working with a lot of different practices to help support their patients after bariatric surgery.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And I'll make sure that gets put into, I've put it in the comment section. I'll post it here on Facebook as well. And then it should be in our description again, like if you're listening to a replay, just in case. Also, Natalie, I'm going to pop on to the Procare Health website. And before I do that, let me post on Facebook
Okay.
here real quick, those two links. There we go. And I am going to pop onto the Procare Health website and just share a little bit about our sponsor. Is that okay? Okay, here we go, guys. So
Of
I'm going to be
course.
sharing my screen, and it's procarenow.com, www.procarenow.com. When you get onto the Procare Health website, you're going to see an icon up here, and when you click that, it'll bring you to the home page if you're not already there. And the banner here has some of our newest different things that are coming up. We do have a price match guarantee that's brand new. So we are price matching. New product alert. I'm super excited. Natalie probably doesn't even know about this yet, but we are now have our calcium. Let me see if it'll let me go back. Calcium on the go. We have now single serve packets just came out. Just came out. They're powdered calcium with vitamin D3. And if I click onto that, I think I actually opened it. It's 500 milligrams elemental calcium citrate with 500 IUs, vitamin D3 in a powder. So it's not in a pill form. It's just basically in a powder that you can mix with. You can actually take it like a pixie stick, you know, in the old days where they had the pixie sticks, you can drink it, or you can add it to your water, glass of water, and drink it down. You can add it to yogurt. It is considered tasteless, but it does have a little bit of sweetness to it, just a tiny bit. But one packet will get you 500 milligrams of calcium and 500 IU of calcium D3. So super excited about that. Brand new, just came out. Also just want to say too, when I go
That
back
is
to
incredible.
yeah, I'll have to send you some, Natalie, to try out.
I would love that. I just have to do a quick plug because this is not like it's not fluff when April, Jason, and I say that we love ProCare vitamins, we're not kidding. We love them. We've been all three of us have been taking them for over 2 years now. Um, my labs have never been better since starting taking them. I love all of the calcium products that you guys have. I love the calcium dark chocolate, and Brenda knows I like batch order towards the end of the season so that I have it over the summer because you guys don't ship over the summer. So when we say that we love ProCare, it's real. So I just wanted to say that.
You guys actually use the products. I mean, I know you guys have been huge
Yeah.
supporters of Procare for that meaning. And also, you all have an affiliate code which patients can save 10%. So I'm going to be sharing that too as well. It's BariNation. It's for anybody that's on this call. If you just want to try out new product, when you get into the shopping cart, there'll be a place where you can add a code and you can add BariNation. It's not case sensitive. You can just add that. And what will happen is you will get 10% off your order. So if you're wanting to try this new calcium product, try that. Try it. We do have a little banner here. It says interested in a free sample. You can also click there. I'm not sure if our calcium is being placed in those sample orders yet. We were debating on, I know our CEO was debating on what we're sending out as far as the sample packet. So there is on this free sample, you can, at the bottom of the form, there is a line to on a message here you could put in there if you're wanting to try the new calcium. I'm not 100% sure if we are sampling those, but you can always put it in there. We can try that for you. But usually this is similar to what a sample packet looks like. The calcium dark chocolate that Natalie was talking about is actually under our calcium supplements, and that should be coming back very soon. I'm going to say within the next month or so. And it's only during the cooler months because of the temperatures. So that shows sold out right now, but very soon that should be. Natalie, what other products do you use?
So I just started using, you sent me the coated 1-a-day vitamins. They taste like orange. They're super good. So I've been loving those. I also just love the Dinner Mint calcium chews, because they just taste like a dinner mint and they're so good. Um, and then I also use, I always teeter on the line of anemic. So I do use your guys's extra iron supplement as well. So those are like my top four, I guess, products. But yeah, I'm excited to try those packets as well. But yeah, these dinner mint ones, it sounds weird, but they taste delicious.
You know what's interesting? I think some of our patients that's like one of their favorites is the dinner mint. It's
Yeah,
interesting. Some people's the sea salted caramel, some people is the mocktails. It's just everybody has different preferences. It's kind of like an after dinner little treat. Natalie, is this
that's
what
what
you
I was gonna
use?
say. I eat them after dinner. Yes,
We
the
actually
45.
the 45, okay, because we have it sold by itself, and then some people actually take it with the bariatric multivitamins. We have varying degrees of iron with our multi. So we have 45, we have 18, and we have 0 iron. So I was just curious. Okay. And the one
Yeah.
that Natalie mentioned, I was pulling them up while you were talking. This one here does actually have an extra 45 too. So if your iron levels are low and you need extra iron, like Natalie, you can always supplement with an extra iron supplement under our product group that says therapeutics. And that's where I found those extras. Well, I also want to just say here on our Procare Health site, I just want to go over to the tab that says Bari Connected. And when you click on the very first link that says Bari Connected, under that, you're going to find all of our topics for the month. So if you want to come back, listen to Natalie's replay, her replay will actually be available till the end of this month. By just clicking on it, it will be on demand. Also, the role of motivation and willpower in the weight loss surgery journey. If you click onto that, you're going to see um, the April, Jason, and her as a way to register for our event for next week. And then we also have some other events on there. We'll be talking to Bill Streetman, who's going to be talking about weight loss surgery as a lifestyle. And we always have a support group every month. That this month it's going to be Living Beyond the Scale, Redefining Health with Corby Ryan. And All of our replays also get added to our YouTube channel, which I have pulled up here. If you click onto the little icon on our site, it'll bring you there. And we now have over 350 some videos on there. So please feel free to check that out. We have almost any topic that you can imagine on there. In fact, Natalie's been on there before, so I'm sure if you typed in the search and typed in BariNation, you're going to find her on there multiple times. Great way to kind of access other events. So 1 year post-op, now what to expect, emotional changes after weight loss surgery. We have clearing away the clutter. That was a great one too. How to remain engaged with bariatric life, all kinds of good stuff there, Natalie. So great ways to find after. And then I mentioned on our Procare page that we do have the Facebook page. So join us. Whoops. I was trying to click on there again. Here it is. Under the YouTube icon is our Facebook and our page and then our group. So there are two different places to click on to. So I'll stop sharing that. And I just want to say, Natalie, thank you so much. Oh, I'm gonna paste your affiliate links here. Let's
Oh,
see,
thank
I
you.
have it saved. And I'll post it here on our Zoom. And then we'll also have that with a description and I'll post it on Facebook as well. Just want to say thank you to each and every one of you that stayed with us and listened and are showing up for yourself and for others. Because you know what? I always think the better that we are for ourselves and the more we show up for ourselves, the stronger and better we can show up for other people too. So thank you, Natalie. And I'll
Absolutely.
be following up with you by email. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week. And hopefully we'll see you next week again.